I'm Lindsay Hanahan here with Barbara Maillard, and she's going to help me today, showing you a couple little extras that you can also use the tweener bar with, but you can use separately. The first one is going to be a VMO exercise. Now this is very similar to the reverse lunge that we do at the back with the CoreAlign, or with the tweener bar, but it's easier, it's a little more accessible, and it's a little closer to the ladder, so it feels safer when you're just trying to teach VMO. And I made this up because I was looking for a functional way to get a VMO to fire that people could really understand all the parts and pieces to it, and it works fantastically well. So I'm going to ask Barbara, first of all, I'm going to let you know, this is set up with 2 grays. You can do a gray and a blue if you like. It's a pretty heavy setup with a black block in here. This one is just on a little peach, which will be way more challenging than you think. So Barbara's going to step on this, the one that's not moving. You always have to tell them that. And then I'm going to have her hold for a sec, and I am actually going to bring this cart up for her, and I'm going to block it with my foot. So Barbara can get her feet set while she's nice and stable. And I'm also going to give her these little ropes. Now Barbara is pretty good and probably doesn't need the ropes, but anytime we're going to try this with a first person time, I'm going to have them hold the ropes. Also, make sure they're comfortable holding the ropes and their arms aren't kind of jagged back by the ropes, okay? So she wants to feel pretty comfortable here. Are you ready? Great. I'm going to let go of that foot closest to the camera, and she's going to hold it for a moment. So now everything had to turn on. I'm going to remind her to keep her weight on both feet. This is very critical. People are going to try to shift off. Stay on both feet. You're going to let your right leg start to drift behind you. Let your heel come up and go into your hoof. Now, the thing is, I started coming up with this so that I could practice the VMO on this leg, but it turns out the VMO on this leg has to work like crazy to support that eccentric resistance on the way back. So now she's going to swing that leg back underneath her, pulling this VMO up and pulling her heel down and standing super tall on the left side. So she wants to stay even on both legs. Try that again. Let that hoof go behind her and stay upright, up on that left leg, and weight on the right, yeah? And then pull it forward. Pull it forward. Good. Now Barbara, as I said, is pretty good, so I'm going to let Barbara let go of the ropes. Some people are never going to let go of those ropes, and that's okay too. She's going to try to do it now without the ropes. I'm going to give a hand here just in case she needs a little something. She's going to go ahead and try to stay stable. Don't lean left. Feel that? She wants to come a little bit towards this leg, right? That's what most people want to do. They want to get off that glute medius, but instead, she's going to stay on it. Nice job. Now, she's going to get all fancy, and she's going to continue that right foot coming forward by hoofing on her left leg, driving herself up and over that right leg. Then she's going to reach back with that left hamstring, bring that leg under her, switch to that left leg being stable, and the right leg comes behind. Nice job, Barbara. Now, as I said, this is related to the reverse lunge that we were doing back here. So these are just on 3 pounds, the little VRMs. I'm going to give these to Barbara. And we're going to make this a little bit harder. I'm going to kind of spot her from behind. Let your arms come out. We're going to do this version first, where we circle the arms like we do on the lunge, right? So I'm going to stay out of her way here for a second, but I am going to kind of spot her at the waist here. So as she does her VMO exercise, she's also going to pull her arms out in front of her like she's doing hug a tree. So pull, 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 and all of a sudden, Barbara really had to find her abs, and then she's going to let that hoof go back and slowly open those arms and organize. So this is similar, again, to what we do back here, but we're much farther away. Different challenges, more so has all those things on the end. But for now, this is a nice little challenge. Now, the other thing that happens here that's similar is if we tuck those arms in, now we're into that hoof, excuse me, the reverse hoof walking or walk away, hoof walk away. And we want to feel this lift here. She's going to, again, anchor those elbows and bring that right leg underneath her. And now she's going to pass through and up. with that extra resistance. Now she's going to bring that left hamstring back, but her arms and torso are holding on, and then she lets that right one go back. Ooh, she shifted a little to the left at the end. She was so relieved to get back there. Now you could also do this just with the first part, so she can anchor here, elbows in, and pull that right leg under. Again, you're just adding more abdominal work, more torso work for them, and then she can take that leg back. So this would be a simpler version, right? So she can do either the walkthrough. I will tell you, very few of my clients can do the walkthrough. Barbara, of course, can, because she's Barbara. Good, and then she does, and she's an instructor as opposed to a client. But I do have one client with with hypermobility who loves this exercise. It's fantastic. All this feedback loop for her is really great. So that's kind of the VMO piece of this exercise. Now I'm gonna let Barbara take these down, and we're gonna talk about this lateral hoof. Okay, so turn Barbara and face that away. Good, and I'm just giving her a little hold here. So, again, she wants to position her feet close to, move this left leg out just a little bit. So she's gonna come into her stance, right? So if I have my gait stance, my legs are gonna be about here. And if I am gonna walk through, they're gonna be about that far apart. That's about what Barbara's looking for here, because this way, this left leg is stable, her right leg is going to pull out until she's in that gait stance right there. And I can tell you she's working hard. I can feel that already. Now she wants to keep her pelvis between her front and back foot. That's very important. Her leg is in front, her leg is in back, and she's in between. This may look similar to you to the adductor and side tilt exercise, because this is a similar setup, but it's in reverse. In that exercise, the abductor, abductor is pulling out. In this one, her adductor is pulling out, and she can really feel that. Now, Barbara has some hip issues. Take that right hip forward. When she first tried this, she had a little twist in her hip here. And so I guided her to pull that right sits bone back, and then she could really feel that inner line on that right leg. These are the things you're gonna look for. Are their hips staying steady? Do they have a hip crease? Bring your weight back onto the back foot. Are they tilting back on the back leg, or go forward on the front leg? Are their hips over their front leg? You want them right in the middle, and they're holding that. Now, before that adductor completely wears out, I'm gonna have her do her left leg hoofed again, coming up and over that front leg, and then pulling back through to come back. Again, Barbara at first wanted to bring her knee forward, so show that, pull your knee, see? So she pulled her knee forward, but her body didn't really come up and over. So then, when we got her focused, she has to push back through the hamstring and drive herself up and over that front leg. And then pull back, and the pelvis comes back between, right? Good? Okay, we're gonna let that go down. Oh, and by the way, she could have been holding on. Again, she got all fancy here and didn't. They're close enough to the ladder that they can hold on, and that gives them a little bit more support to do this. And it's terrific work side to side. See, that was even better because you were more stable, right? So now I'm gonna have her step off again. Her right foot's gonna come back, and we're gonna change to the to the adductor and side tilt. Now, these grays, the way I get them off is I pull them in a little bit so I can release them safely and not smash my fingers like possibly I did in rehearsal. And we're gonna go to just a blue, and a blue here, take the peach off. So each one of these is on a blue. For adductor side tilt, we would have this out. Again, if we have our tweener bar on, having it out gives her a little bit more breathing room anyway. She can still hold on there. So just to show that setup, we did right foot here and left foot on the cart. We start with this setup and go in and out, and then we move this foot forward, and then we go in and out. Then we move this foot in front of that one, and we're in tandem. It's this tandem setup we're gonna start this lateral hoof in. So now, instead of her front leg being pulled out to reach her out leg, she's gonna push her back leg out, and again, out until she's in that stance, right? She can hold on here securely. And then she's gonna push again through the back leg and come up and over onto the front leg. But now she has to really hold this left leg. Now this is good for Barbara, because remember, we showed you how her knee wanted to lead forward. Now that her glute has to fire more, her glute medius over here is working for this lateral stabilization, she does a better job of finding her hamstring to initiate the forward. So hoof, hoof, hoof. And now you can see that knee stays very nicely underneath her and organized, and she comes back. Of course, if she were doing the adductor, one more time, if she were doing the adductor side tilt, she would do this as a warm-up, come back down, then she would move this leg out into more of a split until her arms were clear, and then she would work on her side tilt. This would be at the bottom of the bar, the bottom of the ladder, or maybe at the top of the ladder, depending on if you wanted to play with it, right? So bring that all the way back in. So that was our lovely VMO exercise with some variations, along with this lateral hoof. Hope you enjoy that. I hope it helps your clients as much as it's helping mine.